Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for my favourites and not fails because I don't have any fails this month of September. So this is more of a favourites and recap. So this year has been a real drag for me. Like felt really long. Winter has felt really long. But September has gone really, really fast. And I think it's because I was sick for about a week. That week sort of didn't exist. And the things that I've been loving this month are sort of like hermit things. Like I got a new blanket that's on that couch. Boogie, who's here, loves it so much. Whenever it's out, he's like, it's my blanket. I'm like, that's my blanket. Don't steal my blanket. We've been playing Borderlands 3 a lot. So it's sort of more non-makeup stuff. I think I've been a bit of a hermit and I do wear makeup, but the makeup I've been mainly using is Project Pan stuff because next week I'll probably put up a video which is sort of like the refresh, the quarterly refresh, where you sort of want to finish up as many products as possible and then also swap out products you're not using for newer products that you might use. So I've been sort of spending this month trying to wrap up some stuff that I want to finish and also find products that I want to replace it with. So I've been testing blushes and highlighters, what I want to swap in. So that's what my month has mainly been about. So when it comes to favorites, there's not too many, but there is enough for a video, and a lot of these are recap things anyway. So things I've been trying, they're not necessarily like my all-time favorite products, but I'll give you an update and a mini review of them anyway, because I probably won't talk about them otherwise on my channel. I have also still been loving a lot of the products I mentioned in my last favorites and fails, and I wanted to give you updates on sort of two products. I'm still using the heck out of this Altra matte, which is sort of a cleaning matte on one side, which I've never used it as a cleaning matte, and then a color switch on the other side. And this is great for cleaning eyeshadow brushes in between colors. So I can literally use one flat brush and one sort of fluffy brush to do my eyeshadow look, because in between colors I just sort of rub it on this and it takes off most of the eyeshadow without having to wash the brush. So look, I don't know what's happening with this. This was sent to us a couple of months ago, and then we did mention that we thought it was really expensive. I think it was 50 Australian dollars, which is too much, but it's no longer on the website and I don't think they officially released it. So if you've got a color switch, they're great. It's one of those secret tools that I think every makeup lover should have. Not necessarily this one, but it's pretty much just a really, it's like a soft sponge that has a lot of like air bubbles in it. So it just cleans your brushes really easily. So highly recommend looking at, like, I don't know, on eBay or something for a color switch type product. Very good. Another sort of update I want to give was my IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This is a funny one. And I don't know, like, look, is this a fail? I don't know, maybe. So this is a mascara that when it's right, it looks fantastic. I went to the market on a weekend to hang out with some people that I know, and I met a girl that I'd never met before, and she's like, your mascara is amazing. And I was like, oh, thanks, it's this one. I find if you curl your lashes and put a small amount of this on, and the right amount that it doesn't clump, it is phenomenal, but it is such a clumpy bastard that it's getting to the point where I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I'm actually worried. I've been using it for a month now because I mentioned it last month as well. I'm worried that it's now too clumpy to use. Like today I used it, but I had to comb it out because there was just clumps. Also, the amount of excess product on the wand, I have to scrape it like this. I'll show you how much is left in this. Scrape it like that. Scrape each side because I'll show you. I'll zoom in. I'm not sure if you can actually see, but there's like half that little opening is just filled of product. So much excess product. So when you apply this right and you scrape off things and you're not too clumpy, it is fantastic, but it is so temperamental. I'm not sure if I would recommend it to people. And I'm not sure if it's going to stick around in my collection for too long, because the older it gets, which is like probably only 6 weeks old, the clumpier it does get. But when it works well, it is so good. It's a little bit frustrating. So usually I try out quite a lot of eyeshadow palettes because that's sort of where my passion lies, along with lip products. But in the last month, I've been trying to do my 1 month, one brand. So I've been using predominantly eyeshadow palettes from Coloured Rain, and I've been really enjoying it. I still want to kind of hold off posting that because I want to give it, I think I've only done like 20 looks and a lot of them are really basic because I was quite a little bit unwell the other week. So I really want to give it another crack where I give myself maybe another week to just finalize that. But the palette that I've been using the most and the one that I want to reach for the most out of all the Coloured Rain palettes I own is the Queen of Hearts palette. I am wearing it today, just 2 matte shades with coloured liner. But this palette is so good, guys. It's basic as fuck, but it works so well. It creates beautiful looks. This is sort of an iridescent pinky peach color. I really love the combination of this one and that sort of color there, or that one and that color there. It's gorgeous. I'm using those 2 mattes today. If you want a bit of warmth, you add in the orange. If you want a bit of depth, add in the plum or the browns. I love this palette so much. If I was just using this one palette all month, it pretty much ticks all my boxes I need, because I just want sort of nude and then like little pop of color occasionally. And it's like, I don't know, I've been really basic this month and this has been so good. The quality is amazing. So this is a palette that I have been reaching for the most. Look at my grubby fingers on it. But I will have a sort of 1 month, 1 palette using Coloured Rain, but most of my looks are probably using this, and they're really basic looks because that's what I've been liking lately. The other palette I've really been liking, and I did do a review on this, I did a 7 look review, is the Sigma Enchanted palette. Now, historically, I don't really like Sigma eyeshadows, and I don't think they're worth the money, but this one has these beautiful glitters that with a glitter glue, that is the disclaimer, with a glitter glue, they are amazing. They rival Pat McGrath, or they give the same effect on the eye, and I think they're really, really beautiful. This palette is pretty expensive though, and I think for Sigma, it's probably too expensive, so I'd wait for a sale, but I think it's totally worth it for those shimmery shades if you own a glitter glue. On its own, like on a normal primer, these just don't do it justice. They don't do the shades justice. They just don't show up as well as they do in the pan, and it's a little bit disappointing. But over a glitter glue, like I use the Too Faced glitter glue, this is a really, really beautiful palette, and it can create some really beautiful looks. I do wish that for the price, Sigma put in a whole row of those sparkly shades, because they are the standout of the palette, and then maybe a row of matte to complement the shades. That would have been fantastic. Sigma, contact me. We'll sort it out. We'll organize it. That would have been fantastic, but I really like this. And if you like the idea of these pressed glitters that are sort of easy to apply and give a really stunning effect on the eye with glitter glue, then I really did like this. But I do think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is, but definitely look for it on sale. And in saying that, when I did do that review, which I'll link down below, so I'll do a list of the products that I'm talking about, and I'll do any reviews or any videos that I featured them in. A few people had asked me, have I used this glitter glue and that glitter glue? The glitter glue I've been using for the past couple of years has been the Too Faced one, and it hasn't dried up and it's still going a treat, so I haven't felt the need to buy any more. And in the past, I have tried a couple of glitter glues, like if a friend had one or something, and I've just sort of like tried it, and I didn't think that they were as impressive. So I think personally the Too Faced one, which I think is $30 in Australia, $22 in the US, and if you use it with shimmers and glitters and pigments, you actually don't use it too often, so it does last a very, very long time. I think it's totally worth the investment. I think, once again, similar to how that color switch thing is a great tool that you must have in your collection to make your life easier, I think a glitter glue's must have to make your life easier. And I spoke to Hayley, and we're going to look at doing a sort of comparison video on Beauty News where we see how different glitter glues perform. Because a few people are like, I've tried this one, it's $3. Is it as good as the Too Faced? I'm like, I don't know. I just use the Too Faced because it works so well and it impressed me so much. I don't need to stray from it, but we might do a comparison video soon when we start tracking down a few different glitter glues. Oh, and this is the Too Faced one that I was referring to. And yeah, I've got like probably, I don't know, 2/3 of a tube left. It's awesome. Other products that I have been enjoying this month. This is still in the box. I don't know why I kept it in the box, but it is a lipstick from Natasha Denona. Now, I was actually gifted this from Madeline, who's a subscriber, friend, hairdresser of mine. She's a gun, and she's really trying to convince us that Natasha Denona is the way of the future. She gave us a bronzer palette, which I haven't used yet. I'm sort of holding off for when I'm like, I want to like play with it and look gorgeous and whatever, maybe use it in a video. She also sent us a foundation that was a little bit dark for me, but I can tell you, Madeline, if you're watching this, mixed with like a lightening thing. It's a great color. So I have used that a couple of times. Not enough to get a good idea of it, but a couple of times. But the thing I've used the most is this lipstick. So this is the new I Need a Nude range of lipsticks from Natasha Denona. I think there's like 30 shades or 28 shades of nude. And they've all got different undertones. And this one is gorgeous. This is in the shade Noah. It's what I'm wearing today. And it's like the perfect like latte color. Now the packaging is funny. Like I'm going to turn this brightness down a bit. So this packaging, a lot of people were saying when they first saw it, it looks very Maybelline. And I think the square does look Maybelline, but it's quite heavy and it's also like a magnetic closure. So it's like luxe. It's luxe, but kind of bulky. So I don't really like the design of it, like the aesthetics of it, but it feels very good quality. And the lipstick is gorgeous. So like I said, it's more like a latte color. I've been wearing it a lot. It's not a matte. It's like a sort of normal finish. It's not too shiny. It's like a cream finish. It's very, very beautiful. Smells really nice, applies really, really creamy and beautiful on the lips. It does sort of transfer throughout the day, so you need to touch it up, but it's not drying, it's not uncomfortable, it's easy to reapply. And one thing I also noticed about this color, which is beautiful, that's the color there, I love it. But one thing I've noticed, and I just noticed this today that I was sort of like chuffed about, I was looking at my lip color and I'm like, this reminds me of something I've been wearing a lot lately. And it's actually the Kylie lip liner in Dolce K, which is what I've got in my Project Pan. But then I've also, if you've been watching my Project Pan series, you know I sort of stopped using it because I love the color so much that I didn't want to use it up until I found a replacement. And I did order a bunch of Colourpop lip liners to try to find, like, match the color. Someone in a comment of, I think my last Project Pan video mentioned the exact color dupe from Colourpop, and it's been discontinued. So anyway, I'm still on the lookout for a perfect dupe for that. But this is the same color as a lip liner. So what I was doing prior to this month was using the lip liner all over the lips to get this effect. Now I found a lipstick that gives you that effect. So I still want the lip liner to go with it, but it's a beautiful color. It's like a latte brown, but it's really, really flattering. So I love this. Thank you, Madeline. It's such a beautiful lipstick. And I just keep it in this because I'm like, it's special. It's been in my handbag. I love it, but yeah, I want to try more of these because the formula is very, very nice. Last Project Pan, I finished a powder, I'm pretty sure. And so this month, I didn't want to incorporate a new powder into my Project Pan because I wanted to try a few powders and see what I really wanted to, play with and use up and review and whatever. So there's two powders I've been really enjoying this month. They're not going to go in my Project Pan. I've already picked one that I don't want that's going to go in my Project Pan next month. But there's two that have been really, really nice. One is a little bit more luxe. One is a little bit more affordable. The luxe one is beautiful. It is by Nakia Joy Cosmetics. It is a beautiful powder. So this is the Velvet Finishing Powder. My God, Nakia did such a good job on this. So it's a powder that contains 20 grams. So it's not to be scoffed at. There's quite a lot of product in here. And it's a very, very finely milled, beautiful powder that one thing I love about it, it's so finely milled that it just spreads over the skin really, really lightly. So it doesn't cake up on the skin. It doesn't look very powdery. It just sort of dusts over the skin, sets the makeup, makes it look a little bit more blurred. Like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's a very, very high-end powder. It smells like vanilla sugar. So if you like that, I like that. And it's just a beautiful powder. This is sort of like my special powder. Because this is slightly more expensive than your standard powder, this is more of my special occasion powder, if I think my makeup's going bad but I want to save it with some nice powder. This is a good one. You can also use it under your eyes because it's really nicely finely milled. So that's a beautiful powder. She's done a really good job. And the other one that I use just sort of like for the shit kicker days. The other days where I don't really care too much, but I want my makeup to be set and I want it to be set pretty well, I use the the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. So this shade is number 10, Fair Light. And once again, this contains 20 grams of product. The packaging is a bit clunky and the product is not as finely milled and as refined, but it does a good job at setting your makeup. So these are the two powders that I've sort of been reaching for. This is just like daily, don't care. This is, I want my makeup to look really nice. And they're both really solid powders. And by solid, I mean they're good, not solid in the form because they're loose powders. So Nakia did send me that powder. I did buy the Maybelline one. She also sent me her 2 sponges. These I've just cleaned. I used one today and I used one yesterday. So these are a lot larger than they normally are. And this comes in singles or duos. There's one that's black with this flat edge, and then there's more the tear-shaped light pink one. These are beautiful. They're very, very soft. And they almost got a velvety sort of finish to them. Like they're not velvet, they're a sponge. But because they're so smooth, they give that sort of velvet finish, and they clean really nicely as well. So I cleaned these along with a Benefit one. The Benefit one was just holding onto the foundation. These let go of the foundation a lot easier, so they're easier to clean. So they're really, really beautiful as well. And these are nice for like applying powder or you're just foundation. So she's done a really good job with her range. I wanted to run through a few palettes that I have sort of spoken about on Instagram or my channel, but I really haven't used them enough to have them in my favorites, but I thought I'll recap them. Nakia Joy Cosmetics released the Illuminate highlighter palette. This is a beautiful palette. I've been dedicated to the cause this month to try to hit pan on my Project Pan highlighter, so I really haven't been using this much, but they're very intense but very beautiful highlighters. Earlier this week, I would have had a video up where I did a comparison of these 2 palettes. So we've got the Sugar Pill Fun Size Mini Color Palette and also the Violet Voss Bright Vibes palette. And so if you want to see the comparison of them, you can. I haven't used these much since because I've sort of been dull with my makeup, but these are very fun, bright palettes. One is a little bit more muted, one is a little bit more vibrant, but they both have really nice formulas. So if you want to check that video out, I'll link it down below. But I wanted to mention them because I do like the formula and I do like the colors. I just haven't used it too much for it to be like, yay, it's a favorite. One that I haven't mentioned on my channel, but I did show swatches on Instagram, was the Colourpop So Jaded palette, which is with Kathleen Lights. This one I am excited to maybe do a get ready with me using. So it's got all these shades here, and I really like some of the muted boring colors, like this one and like that one and like the brown. So I have used this once or twice, but not enough to really get an idea of what I really think about it. But if you do want to see me do a look using it, let me know and I will get around to it. But yeah, that's a palette that I do quite like on first impressions, but it's not quite a favorite. When I haven't been wearing this lipstick, I have been wearing this lipstick, which is strange. So this is a MAC lipstick. It's in the shade Kinda Sexy. Now, if I was to pick my perfect MAC lipstick, like nude shade, it would be Velvet Teddy. It almost has this brown sort of rosy effect that I really like in a nude. And it's also a really beautiful matte formula. So they have like the retro mattes that are quite drying, but then they have their normal mattes that are quite creamy. So because I really loved Velvet Teddy, I think they were having a order something and you get a free lipstick. I think this was last year sometime. And I picked up Kinda Sexy, which is more of a peachy sort of color. So it's sort of like Velvet Teddy, but a peachier version. So that's its swatch there. You can see it's much peachier than the one I'm wearing, which is not Velvet Teddy, but it's peachier than Velvet Teddy. Now, when I first tried this last year, I was like, yeah, it's all right. But lately I've been wearing this and I've been wearing it a lot and really enjoying it. So that's another lipstick that I've been really liking this month. If I want something less brown, something a little bit more brighter and a little bit more like spring, this one I've been really getting into. Another random thing that I've been getting into, and I sort of delved into this because I was trying to figure out what primer to put in my next Project Pan. And I pulled out the Smashbox, the Photo Finish Minimize Pores Primer. So this is a silicone primer and it's just a basic silicone primer. Sort of reminds me of the Benefit Professional, but by Smashbox. It's quite thick. You put on your skin and it sort of does blur the pores and the texture a little bit. Now, I don't like these so much in summer because they can create that slip on your makeup that makes your foundation sort of, come off a little bit faster in my opinion. But the reason I've been really enjoying this recently is because I've noticed that since I've cut out a lot of acids and really active skincare because it irritates my skin, I have found that my skin texture is not as good as it used to be. So I feel like my skin is a little rougher, and I will sort of gently exfoliate my skin like once a week or something, but it still doesn't make it feel super smooth. So this is a really good product if you do find that you have sort of textured skin and you want a nice smooth looking base, I actually really like this primer. So I have been enjoying this. Silicone primers for me are fine generally. I do know that sometimes for some people, certain silicones will break you out. So if you're a little bit worried about that, I probably wouldn't go into this, but it is oil free and it's supposed to control oil for up to 8 hours. I don't know if it does, but I have been enjoying it and I probably will put it in my project pan for the rest of the year. Speaking of breaking me out, this is a bad transition because not all these products break me out, but I think one does. So I sent the range from, I don't know if it's Ultra Violet or Ultra Violet. It's a sort of SPF range in Australia, so they do a bunch of different products. This one, for example, is the Clean Screen Mattifying Mineral Sunscreen. It's got UVA, UVB protection, and it's SPF 30, so that's one of them. They've also got this dropper one, which is more of a lightweight sunscreen. It's SPF 50 plus. It's called the Queen Screen Lightweight Skin Screen. My God, that's hard. And it's broad spectrum as well, so UVA, UVB. One of the most popular ones that I've seen on their Instagram is this one, which is the SPF 50 Supreme Screen Hydrating Facial Sunscreen. Now, I have used this one a couple of times. I think this is the one that breaks me out, so I've sort of avoided it, but the other two work fine on me. So I have been enjoying using these two. This one I'm a little bit cautious about. I will give it another crack, but I do think it breaks me out. And they also have a lip balm, which I really like as well. So this is the SPF 30 Sheen Screen Hydrating Lip Balm in Peach. Now, I really like the color of this. Does give a slight peach tone. I don't know if you can see. It's mainly just a shine. It's got a little bit of shimmer in it as well, but it's a really nice lip balm. It's quite thick. So this is better used on warmer days where it's easier to squeeze out. So for example, if you use something like Lanolips and you know that in winter it's like impossible to squeeze out, this is the same kind of thing, but I really like the effect of it. It's really juicy and beautiful on the lips. It's really comfortable. I like the color. I like the scent. It doesn't have much of a scent. It's just a really light, sweet scent, and it's SPF 30, which I probably like this the most out of the range, which is weird. So I am a pretty avid sunscreen user lately because it's been cooler, and if I'm not leaving the house, I try not to use sunscreen because I feel like could be a cause that's sort of irritating my skin and causing a lot of redness. So I mainly only use these when I'm leaving the house, but I do really like the thinness of this one. So it's SPF 50, but it's very, very lightweight. So even though I do quite like the formula of these, like this one that's runny, that's just a small amount. You can see that it just blends into the skin really easily. Feels like like a light lotion. But one thing I find strange about these is they all have a scent. So this one has a strong rose scent. The mattifying one that I do quite like the formula of, I actually think I like this formula more than the really thin one. And I like that it's SPF 30 because on daily use, you don't need SPF 50 because the chemicals that are in it can be detrimental to your skin. So SPF 30 on your regular basis is enough. This one I really like the consistency of. So it's more, once again, it's more like a thin moisturizer, but this has a really funky scent. It sort of smells like herbs and like fake chocolate and feet, and I don't like it. So I have been using it, but I don't love the scent of it. So it does fade down to more of a powdery scent and it does go away, so it's not that big a deal, but I just don't think it's necessary in sunscreen to have scents. The one in the range that has probably the most traditional sunscreen scent, which just sort of smells like sunscreen, is the Hydrating Facial Sunscreen, but this one is the one that I'm a bit concerned breaks me out. So I tend to avoid this one the most, but it does have more of that normal sort of sunscreen scent, which I quite like. So I am enjoying playing with these and trying them. I love the packaging. I think the color combo is so good. But so far the ones that I do happily use on a daily basis is the SPF 30 mattifying and the SPF 50 lightweight one. So those are the ones I use the most. So even though they are scented, which I don't love, I do like the feel of them. They sit nicely under makeup. But I think sort of one of the underrated products is probably this lip balm because it's a really beautiful lip balm and it has SPF 30. So it's what I'll probably wear like when I'm going out just with minimal makeup. I like the fact that it protects the lips. This one I'm still sort of sussing out. The last range that I sort of want to touch on and let you know what I think about it is one that I received, I think it was either early September or late August, but I have been using them for quite a few weeks and I do really like them. So it's by Castor Black. They added to their sort of nail care range. They've got a self-love oil. So this is a multi-purpose oil, which I do really like. They've also got the Rest and Repair Wonder Mask. So this is a mask that you paint on your nails at night. It does dry down, but it's not a nail polish. You don't have to remove it with nail polish remover. It like washes off the next day when you're washing your hands. So that's just like a repair mask, sort of like how you would put a lip mask on overnight or something. And I really like it because you don't go to bed with like sticky nails. So I do like that. I often forget to use it at night. I'm more inclined to use it at my desk when I'm working, but I like that. I also really like the Miracle Treatment Base Coat, which is what I'm wearing now. I put the oil on in the morning and then I put a coat of this. So this is a nail treatment. It's one of those ones where you can use it as a base under your normal nail polish, or you can apply it and then sort of reapply throughout the week and then take it all off at the end of the week. So it's supposed to help treat your nails, and I have sort of like slightly damaged nails from picking off gel nail polish. Don't do it, guys. So I'm sort of in the stage where I'm trying to repair my nails a bit and nourish them. What's also cool about this one, it's got like this nice sort of pearlescent sheen. So my nails look really, really shiny because it has like that sort of pinky pearl sheen to them, which is really nice. They also added a supersonic top coat. I don't use this too much because I mainly wear gel nail on my fingers, but I do wear it on my toes. And I do find it really handy for my toes because I'm the kind of person that always finds that even if I've done my nail polish on my toes well in advance, for some reason, I'll put shoes on, or I'll go to bed, or I'll have a shower, or I'll do something, and it'll mess up my toenail polish and I can't be stuck. So a fast drying top coat is really, really handy. I'm currently wearing this on top of this shade that's on my toenails at the moment. This is the Prima Donna shade, which I think is in their spring collection. So it's a really nice, vibrant pink. So that's what I've got on my toenails at the moment. But I really do like these sort of treatments because they've been helping with my crappy nails that I don't take care of enough. All right, so that's sort of like a snapshot of the products that I've been using over the last month. This month, like I said, it's been mainly Project Pan, trying to use up the products that I still have in my Project Pan and make good progress, and then also find the products that I want to incorporate next. So that's what my month's been, and it's been pretty tame makeup-wise. So, you know, things like sunscreens, I have still been trying. Things like nail treatments, I have been trying. But when it comes to like exciting makeup, I've been pretty bland this month. So yeah, sorry if that was a little bit all over the place or a little bit boring, but it is what it is. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.